Hi everyone. The seventh, yes seventh, car Mercedes has managed to spin off its flexible compact car platform since 2018. There's already the A-Class hatchback, A-Class saloon in either normal or long wheelbase form, B-Class mini MPV, CLA 4-door coupe and CLA shooting brake estate thing, and now there's this. Bridging the gap between the GLA and C-Class based GLC, the GLB is 215 mm longer, 38 mm wider and 101 mm taller than a B-Class, giving corresponding increases in leg and headroom and luggage space. It also gives enough space for two small seats that flip up from the boot floor, which Mercedes says can comfortably accommodate people up to 5 feet 6 inches tall. The GLB is Mercedes' biggest compact car yet, and thanks to the ever-increasing popularity of SUVs and crossovers, no doubt destined to become one of its best-selling. It's shorter than a VW Tiguan Allspace or Nissan X-Trail, but longer than a Land Rover Discovery Sport. Not as tall as any of those cars, but about as wide as the VW and Nissan, and a fair bit narrower than the Land Rover. Of course it gets all the same engines as the A-Class, B-Class and so on. You can have a 1.3-liter 4-cylinder petrol in the GLB 200, or a 2-liter diesel as either a GLB 200D or 220D. The GLB 220D gets standard 4MATIC all-wheel drive. There is an off-road pack that adds an extra drive mode. But while the GLB will get you farther off-road than you might expect, the Disco Sport is still king of that particular hill. All engines get an 8-speed dual-clutch automatic bar the GLB 200, which uses the old 7-speed. The dashboard is pretty much the same one you get in the A-Class, B-Class etc. too, with twin screens. Size depends on spec. In place of a conventional instrument binnacle, the MBUX infotainment system and Hey Mercedes voice assistant. What is it like on the road? The Mercedes-Benz GLB 220D with 4MATIC got a good engine. The 2.0-liter diesel is quiet if you don't clog it, transmits no nasty vibrations through the bulkhead, pedals or steering wheel, and delivers its 187 bhp in smooth, linear fashion. Plenty fast enough. 0 to 62 miles per hour takes 7.6 seconds and the top speed is 135 miles per hour. A good mate for the 8-speed dual-clutch auto, too, which is smoother, quicker shifting and more cleverly calibrated than the old 7-speed still used by the petrol-engined, front-wheel drive GLB 200 and many A-classes. It's more than happy to make use of the 295 pounds-foot offered up from just 1,600 revolutions per minute. Driving the GLB smoothly is easy thanks to progressive, consistently weighted steering and pedals, which encourage a relaxed driving style and ought to keep your passengers happy. We'd love to say it rides well too. Tire roar is minimal, even with big wheels fitted, but there is a bit of buffeting from around the sizable door mirrors. The 200D can accelerate from 0 to 62 miles per hour in 9 seconds and has a top speed of 127 miles per hour, or 9.3 seconds and 125 miles per hour if you choose all-wheel drive. Assuming it offers the same level of refinement as the 220D, you could probably save some money and go for the less powerful car. A family bus like the GLB doesn't need to be quite so fast as the 220D. And what of the GLB 200? It's worth thinking about if you spend a lot of time driving in town. Performance is acceptable, about the same as the GLB 200D, 0 to 62 miles per hour in 9 seconds or so, but load it up with people/things and it may struggle as it only has 184 pounds-foot of torque to the 200D's 236 and 220D's 295. The 1.3-liter motor, shared with Renault/Nissan, gives 161 bhp. Largely quiet but a bit thrashy at high revs. The 7-speed auto feels better here than it does in the A or B class, but it remains inferior to the 8. The GLB 35, meanwhile, is a curious item. It shares an engine with the 835 hot hatch, but added size and therefore weight means it's a little slower. Only 5.2 seconds to 62 miles per hour, which, trust us, feels plenty fast enough. It's an effective engine, this 302 bhp 2-liter turbo, but not an especially exciting one. Where the GLB 35 moves ahead of the A-Class is with the transmission, as it too gets the new 8-speed rather than the old 7. In manual mode it's great, quick shifting up and down the box as required. In the front the GLB is basically the same as Merc's other compact cars. Base sport spec gets twin 7-inch screens, but AMG line cars upgrade to dual 10-inch widescreens mounted side by side behind one piece of glass, one directly ahead of the driver, giving speed, revs, nav and so on. An impressive-looking setup, with no conventional binnacle. The highly configurable driver screen is controlled by a touchpad on the steering wheel, which frustratingly doesn't always register your swipes and prods first time around. No matter, you'll set it once and leave it. The center screen's MBUX UI takes some learning, but is broadly quite user-friendly and has smart, crisp graphics. You can either touch the screen itself, our preferred method, use the second touchpad on the other side of the steering wheel, a laptop-style trackpad on the center console, or the mostly intelligent Hey Mercedes voice assistant. Under the screen is a trio of air vents with a shiny black plastic surround, then a row of climate controls. Looks great, properly impressive, but doesn't feel all that expensive to the touch. The top of the dashboard is nice and solid, but lower down, around the glove box for example, the plastics get a bit cheap and scratchy. The backs of the front seats are made from what feels like the same material, looks a bit odd, but makes sense given all it has to do is withstand your kids' kicks. The second row of seats can be slid forwards by 90 mm or backwards by 50 mm from their standard position, and the backrests can be adjusted through 8 stages. With it slid all the way forwards, the second row is really only suitable for kids, but with it slid all the way back, even adults over 6 feet ought to be pretty happy. The third row is obviously just for kids, however. There are even ISOFIX points should you want to stick really small children back there, not that we'd recommend doing so. Stowing, erecting and accessing the 2 rearmost seats is easy enough, it's entirely possible to do it one-handed. There's a special compartment in the boot floor to store the parcel shelf when it's not in use. The second and third rows both have USB-C ports, so make sure your devices are compatible or you've got a handful of adapters at the ready. And there's loads of light from the big windows and low beltline. In terms of outright space, the 7-seat GLB has 1,680 liters of cargo space with all the seats folded flat. Not a bad effort from Mercedes. Will do very well, even if the Disco Sport is more likable and Kodiaq more practical. The 3-pointed star is worth substantially more than its weight in gold. That said, the GLB doesn't rely solely on its badge, it has been well thought through, with a reasonably versatile, appealingly techy interior and good road manners. We like it more than we thought we would, given some other cars on this platform haven't exactly impressed us. The GLB is certainly worth thinking about if you're looking at a Land Rover Disco Sport, providing the standard suspension doesn't totally knacker the ride quality. Thanks for watching.